One thing that I don't like about this is that there does not appear to be any way, in this screen anyway, to constrain the aspect ratio of the graphic to its original aspect ratio. And that's a little bit of a problem. That means that if you want to keep the aspect ratio the same, it's nearly impossible, because when you start moving things and resizing things, they're not going to be exactly the same aspect ratio. It's a sort of a small gripe, but there you go. So that's how you add overlays on top of your footage. Like I said, there's a lot in here. Some of them are better than others. Many of them seem a little bit low res to me. They don't seem like they're really meant for 1080p video, which is what I'm editing right now. They might be okay for 720p video, which is a sort of smaller resolution HD video. They would definitely work for standard definition video, so if you have some old footage or something that you want to edit together, it'll probably work for that. There are a few other things that you might want to use. There are some frames down here that you can apply to your video. Those might work for whatever you're doing. But anyway, that's how you add the picture-in-picture effects, and I'm going to delete that as well. Okay, now that's gone. So we've already seen the transition screen where we can add transitions. The intro/credit screen. These are basically some templates, and if I'll just grab one and put it on the timeline here, you can see when I hit play that it actually has some text built into it. This down here is the text that is corresponding to this little template here. And if we want to edit that text, again, we can just double click on it, go in here, and change our text. Like so. Hit return. And there we go. And our last tab here is the sound tab. There's a few sound effects that come with WonderShare Video Editor. Very nice. You might want to use those effects in your video, and maybe to accent something funny or what have you. And that's kind of nice that they include a few sound effects for you right there. Another thing that I should have mentioned at the very beginning was some of these effects that I have, some of these picture-in-picture effects, and some of these transitions and so forth, I do not come with WonderShare Video Editor initially. But when you open WonderShare for the first time, you can go to this tab up here that says Download, and you can just download them for free. Install them for free, and they'll download to your computer, and they'll be installed inside WonderShare Video Editor, and you'll be able to use them. Okay, so now we're back in the Media tab. There's just a few other things in here I want to bring your attention to. You can record your own narration. If you just hit this little microphone and hit the record button, you can record using whatever microphone you have hooked up to your computer, and that works just fine. I'm not going to do that right now because I think it'll mess up while I'm recording this video. And that's about it. That's kind of the long and short of WonderShare Video Editor and what you can do with it. A couple of things that I did notice was that the text that WonderShare generates can be a little bit chunky even after you output it. Right now, when you see up here in this window up here, everything is a little bit lower resolution. That's because you're not seeing a full resolution version of your video. You're seeing sort of a quarter res or half resolution video representation of your video. That's just so, I assume anyway, that's just so that they can maintain the smooth frame rate when they're playing back your video. But I did notice that even when I did export my video with a high quality codec into a high quality file, that the text that WonderShare Video Editor generates is a little bit jaggy. And so I would probably recommend that if you're going to do text, if you don't really care about it that much, it's probably fine If you're really really want sharp text, I would say do it in a different package. Do it in Photoshop and then bring it into WonderShare. And I actually have a test of that. I made some text in Photoshop like that, and if I just drag it down onto picture-in-picture, you can see that it works. I just made a PNG file with transparency, and so my text will work inside of WonderShare, and that's kind of nice that you can make your own and bring it in if you don't want to use WonderShare Video Editor's text creation tools that are in the package. So that's just one thing to be aware of. You can make your own text and bring it in that way. The downside about this is that if you look at the picture-in-picture effects, there's no fade. And this is kind of an oversight. And maybe it's a technical issue. I don't know. I don't know why it would be, but it might be. So if you look through all of these different effects, there's no just simple fade on and fade off kind of effect. There's things like this move to lower. So if I applied that and hit return and hit play, you'll see my text comes flying in using that effect. And I guess that's okay, but it's not as good as just a good old dissolve to bring your text in my opinion. But again, that's just one other thing to be aware of with WonderShare Video Editor. All in all, for $39, which is what I see as being charged for Video Editor right now, that's a pretty decent package, and it can do some very basic editing, some effects, nice transitions, audio and that type of thing. And I guess you'll have to decide whether it's something that is good enough for the videos that you're working on. One other thing we're going to do is we're just going to add a little bit of music to our track here, and the way I do that is I'm just going to select my music file and drag it down here. If I hit play, it'll start playing. And let's say I want to start at a different point in the music. I'll just drag my playhead way down here, shove that back, and let's see where we are. That's a pretty decent package, and it can do some very basic editing, some effects, nice transitions, audio and that type of